Hello and welcome to another exclusive episode all about the latest in payments. I'm Anna Ifrin, lead editor at The Papers, and today I'm very lucky to be joined by Martina Weimert, CEO of EPI, who will share some of the fresh insights on Europe's most exciting payments initiatives launched by 16 banks and financial service companies and marking a big step towards a unified European payment system. Martina, it's a pleasure to reconnect and thank you so much for joining me here.
Thank you, Anna. Thanks a lot for having me, and thanks for the nice compliment on the initiative. Very happy to do this interview with you.
My pleasure. So, since our last discussion, a lot has happened at the EPI. First of all, the launch of EPI mobile first wallet, Wero, represent a major milestone in instant account-to-account payments across Europe. With an initial focus from what we understand from P2P transactions, Vero basically allows users to send money instantly in just 10 seconds using a phone number, QR code, or email with no IBAN required. So today we're going to dive into this first milestone and how this has reshaped the payments landscape. But we will also explore the results achieved so far, and of course we will look ahead to EPI's priorities for 2025 and beyond. So we have a lot to cover. So let's just get into it. Okay. So Martina, we get a lot of questions from the papers readers regarding EPI and now the wallet Wero. So first of all, can you maybe please share how Wero has been received in the market? It has been where it was launched so far, specifically Germany, France, and Belgium during this P2P phase.
Yeah, it's correct that we launched first in Germany in the last summer, and followed then by Belgium and France more in September, end of September and October. So far, I mean, it's a great experience because we see a huge interest of the market, and we're very happy to see the uptaking numbers. It's also great, to be honest, we now live and to be in the market and have the possibility to exchange with the market on a different level than before when you're just building or planning. So for the time being, what we can say is that the market launch went very well for France and Belgium, where we also had the opportunity to launch with the migration of existing solutions. This is almost finished in France, will be terminated by end of March, and in Belgium it will take a little bit longer. But the exciting fact is that we see that we have already more active customers and doing transactions than before in the national solutions. So it's not just migrating, but we see the new potential realizing. And that's great. We also see that we get a lot of requests from other markets. So that's nice. That's a first success. I think we have to recognize that the situation in Germany is a little bit more difficult. There was no national solution to be migrated. And so it's like a greenfield approach there. So it's slower, and it's also that we don't have the same market reach as we have in France and Belgium. But overall, I mean, we are very happy. We have now 29.5 million customers on the platform. And the Christmas business was great. We see it growing also now in January. So that's very inspiring, and we are looking forward in integrating more institutions, more banks. We have, for example, 4 more banks signed up in France, so where we already had the 6 big banks. In Belgium, we have 4 smaller banks joining this year, and we have quite a lot of acceptance PSPs who already joined in the perspective of the e-commerce launch on which we are working for this year. So a very good overall perspective with some more difficulties in the German market, to summarize it. But yeah, very interesting. And also, we could now, since the end of last year, also launch our standalone app in Germany and in France with Postbank and La Banque Postale, which is also good because, we have a two-channel strategy. On the one side, the integration into the mobile banking apps, but on the other side, also the functioning of the standalone app.
Thank you so much. And you mentioned that in each of these markets, Wero is actually replacing the existing solutions. Is that correct? Or is it being offered alongside other P2P solutions?
No, it's offered. There's a migration process. The migration process is adapted to each specific market. But yeah, basically the idea is that, we can take over the national solutions when they are existing. This is, of course, not everywhere the case, but it is what we did in France and partially in Belgium.
Okay, thank you so much. And can you maybe walk us through how user can enroll in Wero?
Yeah. I mean, as I said, we have the two channels. So either they see the solution prompted by its bank when they are in their mobile banking app, or they can visit our website and be redirected. They can also find us on the app stores, and especially for the two standalone apps, so the Postbank and the Banque Postale in Germany and in France. There will be more institutions launching the standalone app this year, but for the time being, that's the way how to access us. So for a consumer, it's pretty easy when they're in their mobile banking app. They just have to agree. If they want to have the standalone app, they need to link once their account with us, and then they can use it as their own third-party wallet, connected to their account. So I think both channels or both possibilities reflect different ways of functioning for consumers. It really depends on what you prefer. And yeah, as we will go ahead, we will have more and more banks proposing also the standalone app. But the ideal status for us is proposed the two, so that the consumer has finally the choice how he wants to react. Because we know that there are many people who only trust their mobile banking app. On the other side, there is quite a substantial part. So when we did the research, 37% of the population preferring to have a standalone app, so not being forced to open up their mobile banking app when they want to do transactions.
Okay, thank you so much. And can you maybe share what are the next steps for the P2P payments use case, and if there are other markets on the roadmap?
Yeah, so I mean, it's mainly adding up new features, new institutions, more consumers, and extending the usage to more specific situations like splitting the bill. We will also move on into an area which we call P2 Pro, so paying professionals, not just friends and family, but professionals. So all these features are supposed to be rolled out this year. But for us, it is maybe more important even to intensify the reach, so bringing in more banks into the solution. That is what we are focusing on.
Thank you so much. And regarding use cases, we understand that for this year, the plan is to add the e-commerce payments functionality. So we understand that this is Wero is predicted to offer the greatest value. So we want maybe to talk a bit about that. And if you look at the problems that Wero is trying to solve, and specifically what are merchants and consumers needs, and particularly in relation to current payment methods such as A2A payments and card transaction, how exactly you ensure close communication with merchants and consumers during the development of this new payment method?
Yeah, these are many questions in one. So let's maybe take them step by step. So why are we doing this, or why are the merchants even interested? As we all know, well, today we have mainly card transactions, cash still, but then a couple of alternative payment means, right? But we don't have an instant payment solution in Europe, and especially not one which is targeting really reach in Europe, so a broader extension into various European markets. We think that there is a fantastic opportunity around the fact that we have a European regulation focusing on instant payment and basically mandating it for all financial institutions in Europe. For us, the questions come down to, as a bank, do you want to do it only from a regulatory constraint, or do you think that there is an opportunity? We think that in the digital age, it is crucial to offer instant payment because we don't think that you will need the card in the future. That doesn't mean that we are against cards. I think we have to recognize the great positioning of cards in the market, but that we see that with digital features, you can do more. You can especially do more if you have a wallet in which you can integrate instant payment, but also other payment means like cards or the digital euro in the future, and that this gives an optimum level of choice to a consumer, and would be a pity not to leverage this opportunity, which we see, by the way, developing all over the world. There are many very successful account-to-account instant payment or real-time payment solutions now developing, but in Europe we have not done so far. So that's exactly what we want to do, and that's where the merchant interests come from, because they want a clear alternative to cards, something that is able to cover not just simple payments, but also the complex use cases, but at the terms of maybe European needs, things like you want unique integration, because in Europe we are so fragmented. Many markets have their own individual solutions, but there's nothing cross-border. And for a merchant, especially if you are acting on a cross-border level or international level, having all these national integrations, different way of functionings, different rule books, different business model is very cumbersome. So for them, the opportunity is to have one integration, one functioning with us, and have nevertheless the full scope of services. Then you mentioned topics like, we are going to launch e-commerce, and that would be the greatest value of EPI. Let me react to this. I think the greatest value of EPI is the fact that we are trying to build up this wallet, this all-in-one solution. I insist on this because we have a lot of solutions in Europe, but they are all catering for one or two use cases. Apple Pay is not covering P2P. PayPal does not cover point of sale. We are trying to build up all this stuff with the direct link to the bank account, because we think that the link to the bank account is crucial to keep the control for the consumer, right? So the consumer needs to be in control. The consumer has to be the one that can decide, do I want to use this service everywhere or only in certain situations? So we want to offer that control and choice function to the consumer as a maximum extent, while coordinating a lot with the merchant side, because we are absolutely convinced that without the strong merchant cooperation, we will not become successful. That's why we're listening a lot to what are the priorities for the merchants, what are their needs, and what are they really looking for in the solution. So this is a debate which is ongoing, of course, since quite some time now. And now we want to roll out this first use case, as you also said, in e-commerce, which will be done progressively this year. We have to align there to the specific markets. So when are merchants, their acceptance providers, their acquirers ready? So this whole value chain, and of course the banks, so that we can successfully roll out and not just have here and there first use cases. So In this regard, I think we have proven that we can do e-commerce. We have done a first POC end of last year in Germany with the first real live e-commerce transaction, just to show it works. Now we need to look into the readiness of the ecosystem and all these players so that we can then successfully launch in the markets.
Thank you. So it's going to be a very busy year for you at EPI.
Indeed, yes.
About merchants again, we hear very often merchants complaining about a couple of things, specifically with other payment methods such as A2A payments, for instance. So one of the issues that they complain about is there's no clear consumer protections practices, or maybe there is no clear resolution process or scheme when it comes to issues such as liability, disputes, consumer protection, and so on. So the question for you is, how is Wero addressing these challenges to ensure that these issues are properly resolved?
Yeah, indeed. So consumer protection is key, indeed. On the other side, we need pre-dispute mechanisms. So yes, we have integrated that in the functioning, and it will be live, of course, with the go live of e-commerce. That is very important, but there are also other things like the payment guarantee for the merchants. And let's not forget that we also need value-added services to become successful because of the competition, because of the maturity of the market. So it's a whole bunch of things that you need to get together there. But yes, to come back to your point, we will offer consumer protection and on the other side, pre-dispute mechanisms for merchants.
Thank you so much. And would it be possible for you, we also get this question here at the papers, would it be possible for you to share some details about the pricing strategy specifically for the upcoming use cases?
Yeah, so on the pricing strategy, you need to understand that we are not the ones that will sign the contracts with the merchants. We have as direct clients acceptance providers and and acquirers who then will offer the service to their merchants. So we are giving a pricing to these players, but not to merchants. That is done by then these other third-party players like acquirers or acceptance providers. So what we are aiming for is to be efficient and price attractive in terms of giving them a base pricing which is low enough so that they can still sign it sell it as an attractive service into the market. So we have paid a lot of attention of being comparable, acceptable, attractive compared other payment means as they are existing in the various markets. And in the various markets, it's not the same mixture. Sometimes you have credit cards, sometimes you only have debit cards, or only credit cards. Then you have the alternative payment means. And of course, you have some other wallet solutions. So we studied that market competition, but ultimately we need to be clear that we are not making the pricing for the merchants. We are doing everything to be cost efficient, but the ultimate pricing is done by the acquirer, for example.
Thank you, fantastic. We really appreciate it. And well, that was my final question. Is there anything else you want to add, Martina?
Yeah. So I mean, again, e-commerce is one part, but it's important also to have in mind the trajectory, which is to cover all payment use cases: P2P, P2Pro, e-commerce, point of sale, invoice payments, and that we think that the fact that we also integrate QR codes gives us a lot of leverage on new payment situations where you don't have a terminal tomorrow, where you only have a QR code. And in this regard, because QR code can be very nice, but can be also a challenge, for example, in terms of fraud and fraud protection, we have set up this integrated fraud protection, fraud prevention solution. And I think that's important to develop in the future, both kind of payments, contactless payments, but also QR code.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time and insights, Martina. And we will definitely hear the papers. Be keeping a close watch on what's coming next. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your interest. Thanks.
And thank you for watching.
Bye.